It's showtime, folks. Welcome in, Chase and Big Joe, 1025 The Game. We're live at the Omni Nashville Hotel at Kitchen Notes, waving to the people this morning as they walk by in downtown Nashville. He is Nashville's media darling, Big Joe on the go. I am Chase McCabe, Dr. Crane, Nick Frazier, back at the studio on the ones and twos. I saw Nick yesterday for the first time in 3 weeks.
Oh, no.
He's grown an inch.
Has he?
He has.
Yeah, I mean, I see him every day, so it's time to figure that out. But good.
Just a growing boy.
He is a
Doctor said it
handsome.
stopped after senior year of high school. No, on contraire.
No. Doing well. What's up, JoJo? Hey, how are you?
You know it. Friday, it's here. It's we got football going on, and colleges report next practice, and so our long national nightmare is over. We didn't have much to talk about, and now we do.
Yesterday, was the final Thursday without football until February.
Love it.
Love it. That we'll get the Hall of Fame game next week, which doesn't matter, but it at least it's.
Who is it this year?
That's a great question.
I saw it the other day. Or last
the
year.
Bills?
That Bills. I don't know.
It's Chargers Lions.
Oh, okay. Chargers and Lions. Because Antonio Gates is going in.
Yeah.
And then they usually have to pick a team whose players going in the Hall of Fame. So, yeah, that's the good. So it's exciting. So it's here. I know it's like, the starters will play half a snap, basically. But for the other guys, they're Super Bowl to make the team. And
half a snap. That's pretty funny.
Go forward. And, Jim Harbaugh goes back to Ohio. He said,
yes, he does.
Brings you to Ohio. He said,
did he say
if I know.
Did he say that?
He did.
I don't know if he did, but
he sure did.
So training camp yesterday, had several people reach out and liked our conversation with Tyler Lockett. So
good.
Thanks, Mom. Appreciate that.
Tiny guy.
Yeah.
Tiny. I mean, not Dr. Crane tiny, but tiny.
Do you just want to put him in your pocket?
I try to.
Look, I'm not that small. I'm not fun size. I'm a little bit bigger than fun size, okay?
But you're fun.
But I looked up some Tyler Lockett on YouTube with his highlights. He's a damn good player, man. He made some big plays for the Seahawks. So hopefully he can continue this year. But again, Titans in their history of signing free agent wide receivers is disastrous.
Well, and look, man, I don't know what people really are expecting of him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, he had, I think, 600 yards, something like that last year. Plus, I mean, with this offense, who knows?
Right? I don't just come in and contribute. Let's talk about the awful receivers they've had free agent wise. Carl Pickens,
Ugh.
Yancey Thigpen.
We'll ask Chris Sanders about both of those at
awful.
10
o'clock. Julio Jones.
That was a trade, but yes.
Trade. Okay. Well, thanks for deflating me. That's
Sorry.
right there. Right. It's terrible. Johnson played
Andre
4
Johnson.
games. He's like, I'm good.
Do you count Randy Moss? Because he was a waiver claim.
Yep. What did he do here? Nothing.
Four catches, something like that.
Yep. So you had some really bad receivers that come in, and it's crazy that your best receiver, he was a 4th rounder out of Michigan State and then a 2nd rounder of Ole Miss. Those have been your 2 guys. So their little diving into free agency wide receivers throughout the years has been just absolutely terrible.
Yeah. And so you're hoping that this one can contribute and help the young guys develop.
Yeah.
As receivers.
So I'm watching you on this, Dr. Crane. I'm on the stream now. So Chase, you're positioned perfectly with all these plates behind you. I swear, if I see these plates start like levitating behind you, I'm gone because they're all going to come crashing down. I'm out of here, man. Look handsome on that stream today, too.
Thank you,
all of us.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, sure. But anyway, that's the it's a wait and see approach. And so, Ridley. I mean, these wasn't drafted. I mean, Ridley's got to get going. I mean, him and Cam Ward got to become buddies and all this. And then Lockett help out Van Jefferson. And it's funny. I was watching Restrepo yesterday and see what he could do. I mean, he's okay. I mean, but does he make the team? Does Cam Ward go and say anything like, hey, let's keep this guy around. I like him. He's my safety valve. I don't know. I think he makes the practice squad. I think somebody probably picks him up, but we'll see what happens.
Who makes the practice squad?
Xavier Restrepo.
Restrepo. We'll see. I mean, but look, on all accounts, that's probably what they would want. I mean, obviously, you want him to be good, but I mean, he is an undrafted free agent. You need your 2 fourth-round picks to do something.
He ran a 4.8. I think Dr. Carino had this argument the other day. He ran, that 4.8, 540 in his pro day, and the fact that all 32 teams passed on him, had 7 chances to pass, and is something else. But it's a great story if he makes the team and becomes that slot guy. I mean, look, Patriots, Brady made some guys a fortune off Welker and Edelman and Amendola. I mean, those guys were great slot receivers, and the slot receivers become so important to a football team at all levels. Hell, high school, the slot receivers become important. So if they get a good one in there, I think it helps every team because it's tough to cover the slot guy.
New TSU basketball coach Nolan Smith going to join us coming up at 9:30. So looking forward to that.
Heard that guy's a great coach.
Yeah.
Great coach. Yep. Good guy. Real good guy.
Okay.
Yep. I'm alluding to a tweet earlier this week that somebody sent out.
Oh, I don't.
Okay.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's
so
okay.
that's why you're getting silence and a look for me of like, I don't know what you're talking about.
He is a what's going on, ladies? Well, here's the deal. We're sitting in this aquarium on the corner of 4th and Korean Vets at the Omni National Hotel. And then this is the worst place I think I could sit because I just look outside at the people walking by and waving at them and making people welcome to Nashville.
Well, we're glad you're doing that.
Let them know they're having a good city to be in.
I thought it was interesting yesterday on DVD. They had Louis Riddick on from ESPN to talk about the Titans. And it was, if you missed it, definitely go check it out at thegamenashville.com because he was very passionate about Brian Callahan and about Cam Ward and about giving Cam Ward the proper development and giving Callahan the time to develop him and all of that. Strong comments from him. And he also talked more about, during the draft process, he was the one that made the comparisons between Cameron Ward and Patrick Mahomes. And he kind of explained that a little bit and what that meant. But thought it was really good to hear his evaluation of the Titans to this point.
Did he talk about why he's did not get a GM job?
That didn't come up.
Like 10 or 12 opportunities. He's interviewed for a GM.
Yeah.
And not got like John Robinson. I mean, I think the Mahomes Ward comparisons are idiotic.
Yeah.
Right now.
It's just like saying, like I have been careful how I've said this, but a lot of people were comparing Ward to McNair. And
have they?
I've heard it's been out there.
Lord.
And I made the comment to you the other day. I'm like, man, he throws hard. That reminds me of McNair. And I have to be careful when I say that because they'll be like, oh, Chase is comparing Cam Ward to Steve McNair.
Stop doing that, Chase.
It's like, no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just, release. You can see that twitch in the wrist and how quick that release is, but it's a hard release. So that's all I was trying to say. Because like Derek and Chris have both told us that Steve McNair threw a hard football. Yeah. I mean, like it hurt your hands.
Yeah,
when you caught it.
You saw that for the years. I mean, it wasn't the prettiest football, but Peyton Manning didn't throw a pretty football.
No.
A lot of times he threw a wounded duck down the road, but he threw the wounded duck where the wounded duck needed to go. And so that's what made him so good.
Who threw the prettiest football you've ever seen?
You're going to get me again, man.
Marino.
I'm telling you. Dan Marino is the greatest quarterback to ever play. Now you can say, "Wow, he never won a." I know he didn't win a Super Bowl. I understand that. He's the great. His quick release, his delivery was perfect. Was beautiful. Laugh at me all you want. Titan wise, I told you the other day, Kerry Collins threw a perfect football. Vince Young did not. Kerry Collins did. Billy Volek threw a pretty damn good football.
Yeah,
Derek Mason will attest to that.
He did.
But Kerry Collins threw a great football. And Tannehill, sorry, Joe Rexrod, threw a good football as well. But it's timing, it's delivery, it's been on the same page. That's why Ridley and Cam Ward need to be together with a lot of things. And I'm really concerned about this. Gunnar Helm dropping passes in practice is not a good look.
Well, all right. So let me ask this question, and this is not making an excuse. I am actually asking a question based on what I just said. Cam throwing a hard football, is that something that maybe Gunnar Helm's not used to? That Arch Manning and Quinn Ewers didn't throw as hard of a football at Texas, and you got to get used to that. Remind me to ask Chris about that because I'm wondering of how you really prepare for that if you're not used to it.
And I also think as a rookie, you're a little nervous out there.
Sure.
Make things happen, make things right, and trying to do this. And they're not. I wanted to ask Callahan yesterday before I got cut off at the press conference.
Yeah, they're not going to let you ask questions.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done in the 25 season. I was going to say, you got a lot going on, but when you see a young guy struggling, do you walk over and say, hey, let's talk for a minute. Let's hold you out of a drill. You okay? Just kind of a coaching thing. I mean, but you're so invested in everything, and sometimes you see a guy just kind of go off the deep end and having a really bad day. I'd pull him aside and say, "We good? What's going on, man?"
I want to give thoughts on that because that's a really good point, and I'd be curious of that as well. Plus, you'll hear a little bit of what Louis Riddick had to say about Brian Callahan coming up next. It's Chase and Big Joe. We are live today at the Omni Nashville Hotel at Kitchen Notes. You can weigh in on what we're talking about. 615-737-1025 is our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHonda.com. Coming up at 9:30, new TSU basketball coach Nolan Smith will join the program. Chris Sanders at 10, and comedian Brian Bates at 10:30. Great show coming here on 102.5 The Game.
and this is one of the things that I think about a lot. And it's hard to do this, but I would hope that the current regime does not automatically just look at him and be looking for reasons to fire him so they can just bring in quote unquote their guy. Because whenever you do that kind of stuff, whenever you just kind of automatically in your head have this ain't my guy, I'm just looking for my guy. See, first of all, you're already kind of like thinking that you're smarter than you probably really are. And you think you have all the answers when you really don't, because nobody really does. Instead of just taking it as it comes and taking it organically and trusting the fact that, look, the people who were there before him and a lot of other people who weren't even associated with Tennessee would tell you that Coach Callahan is a damn good coach. Okay. And we all know that success and failure is always on a razor's edge in the NFL. And it isn't just on one thing. There are plenty of things that can screw that up. And a lot of times it's the people up top who think they know every damn thing are the ones who are screwing it up. So just give him the resources, objectively evaluate it. And if you are seeing progression up front, balance, Cam looks more comfortable. The team is playing a winning style of football. To get to your part about the defense is playing winning football, meaning they're not just getting run through, having, time of possession totally out of whack to where you can't even get your young quarterback on the ball, on the field. They're turning the football over at a reasonable rate. Then I think this should be one of those building development seasons to where you go, okay, we've established the foundation. We brought a lot of new people in here. Let's see what 2026 brings.
That was ESPN NFL analyst Louis Riddick yesterday on DVD, Chasing Big Joe, here on 102.5 The Game, live at the Omni Nashville Hotel at Kitchen Notes. And again, if you missed that interview, he was absolutely passionate about the Titans, about Brian Callahan, and talking through all of that stuff. But we kind of got into that yesterday of my guy syndrome, as Jared likes to put it.
Yep.
And that's exactly what he was talking about of, all these guys want to bring in their guy when that might stifle the development of the rookie quarterback. Now, what you brought up before the break, and I know there's a little piece of news we'll get to in just a second.
Right.
But what you brought up before the break of, I think Brian Callahan, is that kind of coach where if he sees a guy struggling, he is going to pull him aside and say, hey, man, just take a deep breath. Vrabel was that way, but Vrabel was a player. And I think there was that player-to-player kind of rapport.
Yes.
This is probably a little bit more of the coach-player type thing.
If we got to get to the news. I'm sorry.
We'll go ahead and say it.
The Titans cut Colton Dowell this morning. The former Wilson Central prospect with UT Martin was let go. They signed Matt Landers. I hate it. They signed Matt Landers. I have no idea who that is. I hate it for Colton Dowell.
Yeah,
I know the young man. He works his ass off. He had an injury last year. I hate it. He'll be a good special teamer some places. Hope he gets the opportunity to do that. So,
here's my question, because I just looked up Matt Landers real quick. He's never played a real snap in the NFL. He's been on practice squads and was with the Patriots last year and maybe one other team. So it's like, okay, this guy's not making the 53. Right. I didn't think Colton Dowell was going to either.
Right.
But like, what's the big difference here?
Right.
That's what I want.
That's a great question.
Like,
I don't know.
Colton Dowell's been with you, knows your offense, and now you're going to cut him and bring in some slappy that you don't know.
Yep, you're right. No, I
no
get
offense
it.
to Matt Landers, but I mean, it's like, what are we doing here?
And Colton Dowell was a draft choice.
Yeah.
The seventh rounder, so he's got a little money coming to him. I just hope he lands someplace else and gets the good kid. His family is beautiful out in Lebanon and Mount Juliet. So back to the question earlier about Callahan helping out. I don't think he can. Not because he can't. He's the offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
So if there's a DB on the far practice field who's having a bad day, he doesn't know that. Vrabel had no responsibilities except being a head coach. Vrabel was basically the CEO of the
except
team.
for 1 year where even though he was
he didn't want
to say it, but he was the defensive coordinator.
Yeah. So in practice right now, Vrabel our head coach who doesn't have responsibilities can go over and say that. Instead, Denard Wilson tells Callahan, hey, Chase was struggling today on that. He's got a lot of talent, but he might be overwhelmed. Then you go after practice and talk to him. That's fine. But on the practice field, it's not happening. And we talked to Tim House about he told us this not too long ago about Tony Dungy. Tony Dungy loved to coach special teams, right? Because he had no other responsibilities. At the core, he's a coach. So he just hop in and Fisher did the same thing.
Yeah.
Would go help out special teams because he still loved to coach and teach the young men and all that. I just think with Callahan being the offensive coordinator, he don't have time for that.
And one of the things he said in the offseason was that he had to make time for that he had to be more of the head coach and be able to touch all aspects of the team. And so, you make a very good point, and I get it. Don't disagree with you, but you're the head coach. So you need to figure it out. If there is a guy on your defense that's struggling, tell Nick Holtz or Bo Hardigree of like, hey, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go check on the defense for a second. I mean,
there's a lot, man.
Because here's the deal, and this is what I've said to you that we argue about, but if everything they have said about Nick Holtz in that, he's right there with Callahan and he's giving suggestions and everything, he can't run the offense for 5 minutes in practice?
That's a good point. I don't know.
I would think he could.
Point. I would hope so.
I would think he could. So, and the other, it's interesting because I was listening to Joe and Paul this morning, kind of talk about our discussion we had yesterday on Callahan, and they were breaking down. We didn't really talk about it, but breaking down the video of he's got the backward hats on and he's kind of trying to be rah, and it sounded very forced. And it's just like, let the guy be who he is. And truthfully, I went through that. Like when I became program director, everybody's telling me what to do and how to be, and that you gotta be firm, but you can't be their friend, all that stuff. And finally, I just looked at the person that was saying this. I was like, can you just back the F off and let me be me?
Right. Yeah, you're right.
Like, I get it. I know you're trying to help, but like, you're not me. You don't know me, because consultants don't know people.
They don't.
Just back off and let me be who I am. So at the end of the day, we can sit here and say, well, it's forced and that's not him or whatever. The truth of the matter is, the only Brian Callahan we know is the guy that walks out for 10 minutes in front of a podium and that you see on the sideline on TV.
Yeah, right.
We don't know what he's like behind the scenes. Vrabel, I think we had a little bit of better idea because Vrabel let you see it more. Vrabel was who he was. What you see is what you get. But just let the guy coach. And I agree with Louis Riddick, and that's why, even though we kind of sit here and question sometimes, like, is he in over his head? Is he ahead? Those things. The hope is that he is, because I don't want to see this team go through another coaching change because of the rookie quarterback.
What puts Brinker and Borgonzi in a quandary is that this team shows the slightest bit of improvement. They say they go 7-10.
Yeah,
right?
then you don't make a change.
But they want to make a change. Chase, they want him.
I don't know that.
They want
Borgonzi. Joe, Brinker hired Callahan. He was a part of that.
Okay.
Like, everybody keeps going back to, he wants his guy. I'm like, guys, he was the president of football operations when Callahan was hired.
Then Borgonzi comes in. He's already brought his people in.
Sure.
Reggie, Riley, McKenzie, whoever it is, and other scouts and things. To be a loud voice in that room.
Here's the question. Here's what they would be faced with. It would be just like, it'll be a little different because it wouldn't be a playoff game. But if they go 7-10, and then you're kind of faced with what Robinson was faced with Malarkey. Malarkey had just won a playoff game. Now, granted, it was a little bit of a fluke thing. Travis Kelce gets hurt. You got Mariota throwing a pass to himself, but they won the game. It doesn't matter.
I look at the game sheet.
It says they won. It says they won the game. So then Robinson's sitting there going, well, I really want to make a change because I think they've hit their ceiling, which I don't think he was wrong.
Right.
If Borgonzi's sitting there doing the same thing, then okay, that's a decision he's going to have to live with. If he walks into Chad and Amy and says, hey, I know we showed signs of improvement this year. I know we got a rookie quarterback. But in talking to the players and doing our postseason evaluation, I really think that Steve Spagnuolo is going to be a better head coach for this team.
So then you got the GM who wants to do this, and then we're back to square one again.
Yeah.
Arguing
right.
about who's in power and who's got the charge and all that stuff. Listen, as I told Rexroad yesterday, for Callahan, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong that
Yeah.
you're not a bad head coach. I'm all for it. Hell, I'll send you a cake. I'll say, you prove me. I will eat the cake in front of you and say, because I like cake, but say, look, I was wrong and you're a good coach. Let's go forward now.
1137 says, I don't care if the Titans go 9-7 and make the playoffs. Callahan needs to go 9-8. It's probably what it would be now, but there are people that are just out on him.
Yeah, I get it.
He doesn't, and you know why? I think it's because he doesn't fit your head coach mold. Like when you think of a head coach, he doesn't look like it.
Well,
but
comparison is a thief of joy, and who do we have the last 6 years?
Right.
You know, somebody sent a note on the or a tweet to me, just bashing me yesterday, which is fine. I don't care. And said, you guys are still so in love with Vrabel. He won one playoff. He hasn't won a playoff game since 2019.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, wait.
That's true.
Then you go back, you're like, yeah.
That's true. It's a good point.
Did Mike Vrabel do a laviolette? Did that message get tired?
No, I think the worst mistake that Mike Vrabel made was he ran off Dean Pease. I think Dean Pease, I said this at the time, Dean Pease was like his compass. Dean Pease kind of kept Vrabel in between the buoys of where he needed to go.
Between the buoys is a great.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, hell yeah.
It was the smartest move he made was hiring Dean Pease. And then the dumbest move he made was forcing Dean to retire, only to unretire a little bit later and go to Atlanta.
No, you're right. And then getting his buddies in there. But all head coaches make critical mistakes.
Look,
down
when
the
Jeff
line.
Fisher hired Chuck Cecil, that was a mistake.
Yeah.
And I think Jeff Fisher would admit that now.
Yep.
That was a not a good move.
Well, you look at Fisher in '95, his first two of the Oilers, they were 4-12. They were not. That was not a good football. Well, we'll talk to Chris Sanders about that too. They were not a good football team. But then he got a chance to develop and go and go and go. And so I think if they go 3-14 again this year, I think Callahan's gone. If you show some growth, keep him there because then you don't want to start over again. We've already hammered that on and on and on. Let's just go out and hopefully win some games, man.
Coming up next, we're going to shift gears and talk a little basketball. Nolan Smith, who is, of course, the fine standout at Duke, is now the head coach at Tennessee State. We will talk to the new coach coming up next here on Chasing Big Joe, live at the Omni Nashville Hotel. We're presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel on 102.5 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 1025, 1063, the game here on this Friday, live at the Omni Nashville Hotel at Kitchen Notes. And we're excited to welcome TSU men's basketball coach Nolan Smith to town as he was introduced just a few days ago as the new head basketball coach at TSU. Coach, how you doing? Welcome to Nashville.
I'm doing great. Thank y'all for having me on.
And I understand my sources have told me it is also your birthday. So happy birthday.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is a great day.
So, you know, you were an assistant coach under Penny at Memphis. I would assume you're familiar with the area when it comes to recruiting, but why was TSU a place that you felt was the next step in your coaching career?
Honestly, just coming to a place that just felt like home, felt like family. And the first conversation I had with Dr. Mickey Allen and President Tucker, you know, the opportunity here to come in here and win in a great league and be a part of a community, Nashville and TSU community and family, it was a no-brainer. So just the excitement to come right up the road from Memphis to become the head coach here was just something that was a no-brainer, and I'm ready to get to work.
What are some things that you're going to be able to take away from the coach? Obviously, you played for Coach K, you worked with Coach K at Duke, and then Penny at Memphis and others at Louisville. What are you able to take away from those coaches that you're going to be able to turn into your style now as a head coach at TSU?
Attention to detail. One of the things that we learning under Coach K, learning under Coach Hardaway, and Coach Kenny Payne. I learned a lot, gained a lot of experience from all three coaches. But the biggest takeaway, especially from Coach K, is the attention to detail in everything that we do, the approach that we have to have every single day, the winning mentality, the winning attitude, the winning talk. You know, and this year we have a really good group. Coach Collins built an amazing team already. I'm excited just getting to know these guys here in these first couple of days. But those are the little things. And coming here, the goal is win now. The goal is win now to build a culture quickly, and it's a winning culture and a winning environment that, you know, I think from day one, these guys are feeling that energy and feeling that obviously we have a task at hand here to win on and off the court.
Talking to new TSU head coach Nolan Smith. Coach, the first phone call you made when you found out you were going to be the head coach at TSU?
My first phone call was to Coach K. First phone
Very
call.
nice.
And we were talking all throughout the process and just about the opportunity to come here. He was extremely excited. He said, you're going to go there and you're going to be great. He said, I love that opportunity for you. And just the excitement that I heard in his voice made me feel amazing, you know, because obviously that's my mentor, father figure, and somebody that I lean on heavily. But, you know, just that first phone call was really good. Had me really just jump in the car and come up here right away.
Oh, I love it. You know, a dear friend of mine's a head football coach in college. He said it never set in that he was a head coach until he got the plaque on the door that said, Walt Wells, head football coach. You're going to have one that says Nolan Smith, head basketball coach. What does that mean when you hear head basketball coach to you?
It means to me head leader of men, right? And I think I've worked my whole life. You know, Coach K, when he first, you know, put me on his staff, he goes, hey, do you want to be a head coach? And I said, yes. He said, good, because all of my assistant coaches, you can't work for me if you don't want to be a head coach. And for Coach K, that means that if you don't want to be a leader of young men, help them grow on and off the court, help them grow as basketball players, help them chase their dreams, help them maximize their full potential in all areas of life, then you don't want to be a head coach. And I said, I do. And one minute I said I do, obviously that's who I was as a person, that's who I was as a player, just a leader and somebody who takes pride in leadership. Someone takes pride in being a big brother or a father figure or whatever it is needed to whoever, whenever. So to be able to have that title and sit in that seat, it means everything to me, and it's a badge of honor that I wear proudly.
I love it. Nolan Smith, new TSU head basketball coach, is with us. I know the portal coach is a big deal with everything right now, but still on the high school level, how important is it to hit the AAU games, hit the high schools? And I know you get the tape and people sending you everything, but how important is it just to build those relationships with the high school coaches today to be a successful program?
It's very important. And the key word is relationships for me. You know, in a business now that has become so transactional at all levels, it's important for me to keep the main thing, which is relationships. At the end of the day, in this life that is short lived, and we know tomorrow is not promised, relationships is everything. So the relationships that I have, the relationships that I build for me are always going to be genuine and are always going to be about putting these kids first. So if I have real relationships, I have to build relationships here in Nashville with the high school coaches here, because at the end of the day, if I don't get them coming out of high school, I might get them on the back end out of the transfer portal because of the relationships. Like, you know what? That Coach Smith over there is a great human being, and we have a great relationship. Even though I didn't send you there to begin with, that's where I want you to go now. So those relationship things and those relationships as your foundation has to be the main thing.
We're talking to Nolan Smith, the TSU men's basketball coach. Our midday show host is a diehard Duke Blue Devils fan and was very excited when he found out that we were going to be having you on talking about that 2010 national championship. Does that ever get old when people bring that up? Because you guys had such a great team.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And that's when you talk about being champions, it can never get old because that's what you work for, right? You work to be champions, and champions are remembered forever. So no matter how old you get, there's always somebody out there that remembers that championship. Like some of these kids, they're like, man, 2010, that was a long time ago, coach. I'm like, yeah, I'm getting up there now. I just turned 37, but there's somebody, right, that is going to remember it because it's always going to be remembered. And that's why we play the game. That 2010 memory is something that obviously I'll never forget. It was a big moment in my life with my teammates, and those teammates are my brothers, and it's something that we'll always cherish.
You know, something you said earlier about being a leader of men, obviously, I think everybody knows that Coach K certainly was that when he was the head coach at Duke all those years. But I also have to imagine that there were times where he could be pretty intimidating. What was the balance with him of knowing when to, be that father figure, coach, however you want to put it, but also like when he's got to turn the heat up, he was able to do that?
Oh yeah, I mean, for him it was when we got between those lines, or it was business time. You knew Coach K was locked in. It was time to take care of business. And then whenever the game was over, practice was over, we were done with the weight room or conditioning, whatever it is. When it came time to the work, he was able to flip the switch. And if there was somebody he needed to talk to or pull into his office, he would do that and have those either hard conversations or loving and accountability conversations, to be able to say, hey, what's going on with you? You're not yourself. So he always was a human being and somebody that was relatable and that you could go talk to.
Well, Coach, we're excited for you to be in Nashville, and obviously we love TSU and talking TSU athletics. So hopefully we will have many of these conversations throughout the season with you.
Thank you so much, and excited to be here and excited to get to work.
Absolutely. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thank y'all.
Nolan Smith, new head coach of the TSU Tigers men's basketball program, and of course a national champion at Duke, and most recently coached with Penny Hardaway at Memphis.
It's a transitional time for TSU. New football coach and new basketball coach. And, what a career he had at Duke. I mean, that was a hell of a player. I mean, it's a good gift for TSU, man.
It's funny he brings up, some of his players may not remember those. I remember that team or those teams. I mean, that 2010 run was certainly an awesome one, but that just shows you Duke always managed to find those good players.
They did. That was that the Butler year? I think Butler made the run.
Maybe
10 and 11. Yeah. So,
something like that.
Won a national championship. That's not bad. Not too shabby.
What's interesting is this we'll go back to football, but have you seen the report that North Carolina is exploring trying to move to the SEC?
They ain't dumb.
No. I believe North Carolina and Clemson. To me, if UNC is going to move, Duke has to. They have to be a package deal.
Let's talk about it.
All right. We'll talk about that coming up next. Chase and Big Joe live at the Omni 102.5 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, the game live at the Omni Nashville Hotel at Kitchen Notes. Well done, Dr. Crane. Will Jefferson's bringing us back. So North Carolina, there was a report inside Carolina's Adam Smith that multiple sources stated that UNC is interested in a potential departure from the ACC and would eye the SEC and moving there. The earliest that they could potentially leave would probably be 2027. But my thing is, and I think Clemson's name has been batted around as well. Look, we all knew this was coming. I mean, there's eventually going to be basically Big Ten, SEC, and then everybody else, whatever. And so now some of these power programs, which Carolina certainly, they think they're going to become that in football with Bill Belichick. I don't think that, but they obviously have that in basketball. They're wanting to get into the best conference.
All right, so Duke won't go if Carolina makes the lead. Duke ain't following North Carolina. That's what's going to happen. I mean, but
I think they're going to. I think they would have to
stay in the ACC, go independent,
go be top dog in the ACC,
go be what Notre Dame is. I mean, go do your own thing, and and generate what you want to do. I don't know where this ends. I think if North Carolina, if this does happen, get rid of the SEC championship game. Now it means nothing. I mean, you're at 16. Where do you stop at 20?
Right. The interesting thing is, like the SEC. If we had talked about this 10 years ago, I would have said the SEC should definitely pursue this because of basketball, because then they could become the top dog in football and the top dog in basketball.
Yeah.
They don't need that anymore.
Nope.
Like the SEC in basketball is, I mean, I would say up the, maybe not the top, because, I mean, again, Carolina and Duke are blue bloods. But you got Kentucky. Now Alabama's got a program. Tennessee's got a good program. Vanderbilt may be on the way back up. Texas has a good program. South Carolina's, historically had a decent program. So the SEC has schools, Missouri, that are competing for the championship and in the tournament every year. I mean, how many did they have? 14 in the tournament last year?
How many got beat on day one? Half of them?
Still.
So how I should say this is that I think it's getting to the point where the SEC will just have their own everything. I mean, we heard Sankey. He's not going to let the Big Ten boss him around.
No.
So I think the SEC might just be their own entity within themselves. And I think a lot of people be happy with that. I would not be. I think what's happening now is disastrous. I'm not a fan of all these mega conferences. And I think once the SEC goes into their own entity, they shut out a lot of other group of 5 schools from playing. Yeah. I'm rooting for every group of 5 school to kick every Power 5 or Power 4 school's ass throughout the year. I'd love it.
The thing that's kind of fun about the new college football video game is you can do custom conferences. Like you can customize everything.
Yeah.
I've done on one of my dynasties, I put everything back. So I put the Pac-12 back.
Good.
I put Texas and Oklahoma back in the Big 12. Like just put it all back to where it was.
I might as well. I'm way older than you are, but I grew up on the Metro Conference.
Sure.
Which was Florida State, Tulane, Southern Miss, Virginia Tech, South Carolina, Cincinnati. It was fun. It wasn't the SEC, but it was still fun. It was that conference that, if you're going to play them on a Saturday, you're in for a fight all day long. When Favre and Southern Miss beat FSU in '89 at the Gator Bowl, you're cheering for all that stuff. And these other schools that didn't get their fair shot. That was fun, man. Now it's a business.
What's interesting is when all this really, and there was conference expansion in the 90s that led to the SEC championship game.
Yep.
Which was that Mike Slive or was that
it was Roy Kramer.
Roy Kramer. And then Mike Slive takes over.
Yes.
And that's when everything really just skyrocketed.
Yep.
But we were all cool with it, like for the most part. Like everybody's like, all right, whatever. There were some SEC people probably like you that kind of looked at Arkansas and South Carolina and we're kind of like, yeah, you're not real. Like
it took a while,
but now they are, and just kind of like Texas A&M and Missouri.
Yeah.
Like it took a while, but now it's just like, holy cow! Like this thing has really gotten out of control.
Yep.
When this would be kind of cool. Now it's just weird because the Pac-12 is basically gone. And then you got the Big 12 that has been drastically neutered because they don't have Texas and Oklahoma and Texas A&M anymore. So it's just like
it's something. It's funny to go back to your thing about Arkansas and South Carolina, 92. Vol fans don't hate me, but the name Kendall Trainer, you know who he is, the kicker at Arkansas. Arkansas's first year in the SEC, they beat Tennessee. So did South Carolina. They beat Tennessee. So it was like, oh, my God, they're in the SEC now. We got to deal with this and go forward. And that was the conference championship game in 92, and it took off from then on. And then it was something else. It was a beautiful thing that happened. And it's funny, you know, the reports came out this week that Memphis offered the Big 12 or the Big 10, I forget which one it was, $250 million to join. And they're like, nah, we're good. And it's like, my goodness. I mean, where does this end? Is this all about just deep pockets? What's going on? I guess it is. But I'm telling you, man, I'm rooting for every group of 5 that plays a game this year. When we go to Wisconsin, I would love nothing more than MTSU.
Oh, could you imagine?
Just punish Wisconsin. I'd love it.
I would love to see with my own 2 eyes, be in the building, a moment like you witnessed when MTSU went and just beat the ever-loving crap out of Miami.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like an upset to that caliber.
Yes.
That, I mean, truthfully, like upsets like that get a coach fired. Like those are the kind of things that and it's Luke Fickell, right? Is the head coach at Wisconsin?
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
You know, and I like Luke Fickell, but I mean, I don't want him to get fired, but I'm just saying, like, those type of upsets where ESPN's talking about it, we'd be talking about it, we would be there. I mean,
I think more group of 5 schools are going to beat Power 5.
I do too, because of the portal. Because you're going to have and look, the more that the group of 5, like we have a lot of conversations with people at MTSU. My thought is they kind of get how the game is played now. And the more group of 5 schools that accept how the game is played now, of like, you know what? I'm going to go get Sean Mark, who's a 4-star that signed with Alabama and was given this bill of goods and sold this bill of goods, and he's a hell of a quarterback at Alabama, but he's got another guy ahead of him that was just a little bit better, so he's just sitting there not playing. He's going to go, well, screw that. I'm going to go to middle. I'm going to ball out at middle for a year, and then Georgia's going to come off for me, and I'm going to make $5 million.
You just described the game, brother. That's how it's been played.
And if you're a coach at one of these group of 5s that is like, man, that's not how it works, then guess what? You're not going to be a coach for much longer.
That's right.
Because this is the game, and you have to accept that.
That's why we quit comparing. Well, last year, you know, Vandy lost to Georgia State down there. I get it. We're not comparing year to year anymore because so many guys have left. 50, 60 guys have all transferred and gone. They don't remember last year because they weren't here.
Vandy is an anomaly. The fact that they have all those guys that came back, like, and good on them, because they basically looked at each other like, yeah, I know we all probably could go make more money elsewhere, but let's see this through.
Yeah.
You know, Nick Vattiato staying at MTSU, that's an anomaly because, again, he probably could have gone somewhere else and made more money, but he wanted to see it through. So you're still going to have some of that, but that's where these group of 5s. So I agree with you. I think we are going to see, and look, from a television standpoint, from an entertainment standpoint, that's good for business. That if you have, you know, an MTSU going to Wisconsin and beat Wisconsin.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. The only group of 5 team I hope goes 0-12 is Trent Dilfer and UAB. Hope they lose every game because I can't stand him.
Matthew in Nashville says, we don't need any more teams in the SEC. I don't want Sankey's dream to come true of a 24-team SEC that breaks away from the NCAA to form their own mini NFL.
Exactly. I would hate that.
It's going to happen.
It's absolutely going to happen.
And you know what's interesting? And again, I like Greg Sankey. He's always been, you know, good with his time and comes on and stuff. But if you go listen to the interview we had with him last week compared to the first interview he ever did with this radio station, gosh, you hear a change. You hear a guy, that he hates to be called the most powerful man in college athletics, but he also loves to be the most powerful man in college athletics.
I'm a big body language guy. I've always been a body language guy. He looked miserable.
Yeah.
Greg Sankey looked absolutely miserable talking to us and anybody else. SEC Media Days. That's why I asked the question. Is there one day you'd like not to talk to anybody? Is that possible?
Yeah.
He said, I tried on the 4th of July. I would not want all that. I mean, the downfall of man throughout history has been greed. Why does it have to be greed in college football? You have to be left alone. And, to make it into a mini MINI NFL drives me crazy.
Real quick, Matthew also said, did y'all see the newest thing that Memphis is in trouble for? Speaking of Memphis, one of their players sent the playbook to a UTSA player. On3 released the screenshots of the text.
Saw it. Awful. Absolutely awful.
It's bad, man.
It is. It really is bad. And then Memphis. So,
Memphis.
how do you stop that?
Take their phone away?
I don't know.
I mean, here's the thing. You've kind of done this to yourself because they're putting all the damn playbook stuff on iPads now.
Yep.
It's not even a physical playbook anymore.
That's right.
So, I mean, what do you expect to happen?
That's the thing is that, how do you can never trust this guy again, ever. I'd kick him off the team immediately. I'd make it
no, like you cut a guy, like at the Titans, for instance, like cut a guy and like, hey, bring your playbook. You bring the tablet back. You probably saved it on, you probably copied it.
Homework assignment for all sports fans. Google Ron Zook and Jack Sells, former Tennessee assistant who photocopied at Kinko's or FedEx the Tennessee playbook back in the late 80s, early 90s.
Wasn't Ron Zook the guy that took over for Spurrier at Florida?
He did. Sure did. Go look at what happened. Somebody and got busted doing that. Don't do it. You always get caught.
Yep. Coming up next, we're going to talk to our man Chris Sanders, Forever Titans wide receiver, get his thoughts on the first couple of days of training camp. Do that next. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game.
All right, welcome back to the second hour of the Chase and Big Joe Show, live at the Omni Nashville Hotel in beautiful downtown Nashville. Chase McKay, Big Joe here. Sean Mark, on-site engineer, having a great day. As we love every time on Fridays, let's bring in our good friend, former Titans receiver, all-around good guy, Mr. Chris Sanders. Chris, good morning to you. Welcome. How we doing?
Man, I am doing really, really good. Last night I had a rough night because I was watching one of my favorite shows called Press My Luck. And this lady had like $400-something in, and she pressed the wrong button and she lost and got a whammy. So I'm still kind of upset.
So let me ask you this. Is it really losing something if you've never had it? Because she never really had it, right?
But all she had to do was stop. She had a car. She had a trip to Italy. She had all these things, and all you had to do was say, I don't want to play anymore. She said, I'm going to press my luck. And then all of a sudden, man, she lost it all. I was sick.
Sorry about that,
I'm in a bad mood, man. Yeah.
Oh, I get it. I understand. Hey, earlier we told the show, and I know this is not the most massive NFL news, but the Titans waived Colton Dowell today, okay? The wide receiver out of Wilson Central.
Right.
If you could talk to Colton Dowell, what would Chris Sanders tell Colton Dowell right now?
Man, I love that you ask these questions, man, because, you know, this is what life is all about. Here's two things. You got a choice to get bitter or get better. And the way you get better is you know what? In spite of my setback, in spite of what I went through, I'm going to figure out a way to try to get it done because he's going to get picked up somewhere because he's known, you know, around the league. I know his stats aren't there yet. He has 1 or 2 catches, but you still have a chance. You're still young to go out there and try to make a roster because I know it's disappointing because it's one of your dreams that you dreamt of all your life, and all of a sudden you get cut. But here's the great news. If you get better, you're going to go to a team and try to make it and do an outstanding job.
I love it. Chase is outside signing autographs. We'll be back in a moment. So with that,
Chase? Is that John
autographs,
That's his nickname.
It does it all the time. So with that being said, Dr. Crane, here's Chris's song this week.
Oh, let's go. Juicy Rose. Hey.
That's a good one.
There you go.
Hey, I got a funny story.
Yep.
I got a funny story.
Yes, sir.
We were, like when I went to Ohio State, right? That was when that song came out. So every morning for breakfast, we would have a thing called Juice and Rolls. So now it started becoming a song called Get Your Juice and Rolls. Your Juice and Rolls. That's Eddie. That was a song every time we came into breakfast. It was called Juice and Rolls.
You know what's funny about that is I remember those camp breakfasts in college when guys would show up, and I'm telling you, they looked like they would rather die than practice that day. Some of them, for a man.
You remember that? Hey, those camp breakfasts was crazy, man. It was fun, but hey, it's all good.
It's all good because they're like, I'm not eating that. I'll throw up in an hour on the field, and most guys are gorged, end up eating and throwing up on the field.
Now, but see, the funny thing about it is back in 1999 and 1998, we were being Krispy Kreme for breakfast. That's all we ate all the time, especially on Fridays and Saturdays. We didn't eat good, so we ate Krispy Kreme and tried to drink milk before practice. So it didn't work because it wasn't a good combination.
Chris Sanders is with us.
Yes, sir.
I have a question, and I don't think you two have covered this yet, but
Sure.
As a receiver, you know, different quarterbacks are gonna throw the ball in a different way, right? You got different arm angles, speed of the ball, like how hard the ball is thrown. Like you and Derek have both told me that when you play with Steve McNair, I mean, he threw it hard, and you had you had to be ready for that. How do you get used to that? Is that just simply reps? Is that just working with a guy? Because we talked about Gunnar Helm the first few day of practices that, you know, he dropped a few and he's a rookie. That's okay. He hasn't played with Cam that much. So how much of that, you know, can you work on your own, and how much of is it just working with the quarterback?
You know, it's both. It's working with the quarterback, but it's also the jug machine. Because if you look at the jug machine, it's going to consistently come out with speed, and you can change the speed. You can kind of help you with that. But here's one thing that you have to do is you got to communicate with your quarterback, and the quarterback's got to communicate with you. It's kind of like this. If I'm running a 5-yard shallow route, I'm not going to throw it hard like Billy Volek. Billy Volek would just I'm like, wait a minute, just ease off of it a little bit. And I just think that when you become a mature quarterback, you got to know when you got to throw a softer ball as opposed to a harder ball. And just imagine you're running a dig route about 15 yards. You really have to put some spiral, and you really have to put some speed on it because it has to get to a spot. But if I'm running like a 5-yard hitch or a short, shallow route, you don't want to throw the ball 100 miles an hour wide because you can't catch a fastball. Those are kind of things you can basically work on.
With the news that Will Levis is going to be out for the year,
all
indications, even though we all knew they kind of were, are that
Right.
Cameron Ward is the starting quarterback of the Tennessee Titans. Now that that's a little more out there, does that take some pressure off not only Cam but his teammates at the same time?
Yeah, I don't think it took a lot of pressure off of Cam because I mean, me and you knew that Cam Ward was going to be the starter. I just, you know what I'm saying? I mean, everybody kind of knew that. I don't think there was actually, from day one, there was no pressure because everybody knew he was the guy. But I just think that he could just go and just do what he needs to do because it just gets to a point to where, even though Will Levis was fighting for a backup position, he wasn't fighting for a star position. I just never believed that there was no pressure situation in that situation.
Let me ask you this. When you're coaching wide receivers at NBA and you've got a talented guy and he's having a really bad day.
Do
you talk to him during practice? Do you wait till practice is over with? What's your approach?
No, you got to watch his body language. And it's funny because I have two good receivers in Montgomery Bell Academy. And when if they drop a ball or run the wrong route, the one thing I tell them is don't press. You got the talent. You got the ability. You know what to do with the line of scrimmage. You understand at the top of the route. So when I know that they're good and I know that, they can make plays, you just kind of talk to them and say, hey, listen, hey, dude, you got to be funny. Come here. You talk to you. Hey, just relax. Don't press. Just do what you do. And then about a couple of plays later, they give back that confidence. Why? Because they know they can do it. So that's why I love coaching wide receivers because it's not just fine-tuning, the craft of running routes. It's fine-tuning their mind to say, dude, you've done this before. You've done the drills. You've done the things at the line of scrimmage. You understand how to catch the ball. Just don't press. That's kind of how to handle guys that are out there.
So I'm assuming in 1995, when you get drafted by the Houston Oilers, you come in as a rookie, you pressed, right?
I did. I did press, and I'm going to give you a perfect example. We were playing the Chicago Bears, and as we were playing the Chicago Bears, I think I dropped like 1 or 2 passes in a row. And this is why I love Coach Steckel so much. I just love that dude. He took off his headphones and he sat me down. He said, Chris, you've been here before. You've ran these routes. You've caught the ball. You can make big plays. Then all of a sudden, 2 plays later, I go out there and make a big-time play. So that's what coaching is all about, is understand and reading the body language of your wide receiver, reading the body language of what he's going through at that moment. And Les Steckel saw me at that moment that I was pressing. And what he said as a great coach, say, hey, big dog, don't press. Just trust your skill level. And that's exactly what I did.
I was telling Chase yesterday, Cam Ward's got a head coach who's a coordinator in Brian Callahan. He's got offensive coordinator Nick Holtz. He's got a quarterback coach in Bo Hardigree. Is that too many? Because I told Chase, it's like my best friend, well, not my best friend, but my position coach in college, I loved that guy. I could tell him anything. At what point are there too many cooks in this kitchen for Cam Ward?
Yeah, but see, it might be a lot of cooks, but they gotta have the same recipe. And I think when I say you have the same recipe, even though you have a lot of voices, you still have to have one voice. When I say one voice, that means that if they're coaching a certain technique, or they're telling them to throw it, or they're telling him, the 3-step drop, the 5-step drop, whatever they're saying, they need to have one voice. So even though you have a lot of voices, everybody needs to be on the same page by having that one voice. So say if he does a 3-step drop, okay, don't put your foot here, or you're going through the first and second read, don't look at this, look at the safety, or look at the corner, look at him blitzing off the slot. So if they're hearing the same voice with a lot of voices, it still makes it okay. Why? Because they hear one voice.
Chris Sanders is with us, forever Titans wide receiver. I noted to Joe watching and granted, it's the first day of training camp. They're in shorts and t-shirts. They're not even in pads and all that.
Yeah.
But I said, like, watching Cam Ward walk into the huddle, command the huddle, break the huddle, walk up to the line, bark out orders at the line, and take the snap. I was like, this kid looks like he's been doing this for 5 years. And that may sound so simple, like that all that stuff, like we all think is, you know, when I say we, I mean like people that never played football are like, yeah, I mean, you should know how to do that. You got to learn that too. The fact that he's already looking like a veteran, to me, like that,
Wow.
that's encouraging.
Man, you know what? That is a great observation, because the thing about it is you want your quarterback to have confidence. You want your quarterback to have a certain type of swag, because the thing about it is if he exudes with confidence and he steps in the huddle and barks out the play and barks out the front and barks out these things and he does it with confidence, you don't think these other guys are going to follow suit. And that's why I think the Tennessee Titans really drafted him, because everybody talks about his leadership. Everybody talks about he takes command in the huddle, and that's what you want with your quarterback. So even though he's a rookie, and even though this is his first year, when you have a rookie that steps in the huddle with confidence, that steps in the huddle, say, you know what, I'm in control of this thing, the receivers are going to follow suit. The offensive line is going to follow suit. Even the defense is going to follow suit. Why? Because you have a leader that's taking command.
I'm curious if you've kind of noticed this too, Chris, because I was thinking through, like, basically since the first time I've heard him talk, you know, even before the Titans drafted him, watching like all the combine stuff and the workouts and, you know, when he said, I'm going to help you solidify it and all that stuff, I have pulled for this guy. Like I have instantly become like, I like how he carries himself, the confidence that you just talked about. With Will Levis, it's not that I didn't pull for him. It's just it was more expected. Like, hey, you know, you went to Kentucky. You played in a pro-style offense. Like, you're a second-round pick. Like, I just kind of expect you to be great. So why is there a difference? Why do you think we're pulling for this guy like maybe we haven't other people?
You know what the difference is, and this is kind of a cool analysis, is even though he speaks softly, his attitude speaks loudly. And it's kind of vice versa with Will Levis. And this is not been a disrespectful thing. I think he spoke loudly, but his play didn't speak at all. And I'm saying that in a respectful way. And I think with Cam Ward, that even when he does his interviews, he speaks softly. He's not overbearing. He's confident in himself, but it's really quiet and it's really like, hey, I'm just going to go out there and do my job. I've been here before. I've done this. But then he goes out to practice and then he steps in the huddle. Oh, man, I got this. And you want that with your quarterback. And I think the situation with Will Levis is he's talking about I'm this, and I'm saying this in a respectful way. I'm this and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. But then you get into games and then you throw 2 interceptions and it just didn't add up. So when you have a guy like Cam Ward that speaks softly, but his game speaks loudly, those are the kind of cats that you follow.
Love it. We're talking to former Titans wide receiver Chris Sanders. Chris, Chase and I are talking about the history of the Titans signing free agents. It's not good wide receivers. You were there. They signed Yancey Thigpen, and I mean Carl Pickens was a disaster.
Oh my gosh! Oh,
you know, the Andre Johnson didn't work out. I know they traded for Julio Jones. What is it? Why can't this team? You were in that locker room. You're on the field. Why can't this team ever sign good free agent or trade for wide receivers?
I don't know. I mean, it's just got to be a good fit. I think with Yancey Thigpen, that was pretty good. I just think that when we got Carl Pickens, you know, he was a different kind of guy. I mean, it's when you bring different kind of guys in here that make it about themselves, then it's not going to work. And I'm not saying that, you know, like Julio Jones and those guys did that, but I'm just giving you my experience with Carl Pickens. When Carl Pickens came in, he made it about himself. He was talking about the offensive coordinator, talking about how sorry the team was. I don't want that. And I think with the guys that you bring in that didn't work out in free agency, I think the reason why it didn't work out is because they were a little older in age. You had Randy Moss that couldn't run anymore. You had Andre Johnson that will make a play once in a while. I just think that the reason why it didn't work is because they were older in age. If they would have got them in their prime, then I think it would have worked. But I just think it didn't work out because those guys were just older in age.
Yeah, and those guys you just talked about could not jump over a Buick in the end zone at Riverfront Stadium after a touchdown catch by one Chris Sanders. I love when you post those plays because I laugh because you post those plays on your Instagram about your touchdowns. I mean, you're blowing past guys 4, 5, 6 yards.
Man, you know what? I was a speed guy, and the thing about it is when I got in the NFL, you know, nobody knew who I was. Nobody cared who I was. And they came up and did press coverage. So I'm like, man, they doing press coverage. This is cake. So my first game, just when I jumped over a Buick, I just did my release and ran by him, man, and just said, hey, I see you when I see you. So it was just a cool deal, man.
Yeah, I love it. What's it always said? You always tell us, like, if you catch that DB peeking in the backfield, what's
done.
next?
Oh, it's hey, if the band's gonna stand up because they know it's gonna be a touchdown. They already gonna get ready to start playing. If you even, I'm leaving, and they knew it.
Chris, appreciate it as always. Have a great weekend,
you, man. Oh man, love you guys. Y'all take care. Bye.
You too. Chris Sanders, Forever Titans wide receiver, joining us here on the program. Comedian Brian Bates going to join us at the bottom of the hour. But coming up next, there's someone that's been talking about the Titans that doesn't need to be talking about the Titans. We'll discuss that next. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game.
If you're out at Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park, which is where they hold their training camp practices, you're going to hear two voices as soon as you step out on the field. You're going to hear Jeff Simmons and you're going to hear Arden Key. And that's going to be consistent all day long. And in the time that I was there, you never really heard that voice come from the offense, just in terms of just the chirping. You got guys here and there that'll chirp back, but you're going to hear Jeff and Arden talk every day, all day. Well, now the Titans have a guy, a competitor in Cam Ward that is going to chirp back, and you'll probably hear his voice now first above those other two. And even though those guys are vets, so I think they're getting the ultimate competitor. I think Cam is extremely intelligent, and just his ability to not only pick up the offense, but be able to process it and then have an opinion on, on plays and formations and things that he'd like, to implement. And he has a head coach in Brian Callahan that is going to give the quarterback a voice.
That was former Titans GM Rand Carthon on, I think, CBS, giving his thoughts on Cam Ward, chasing Big Joe 102.5 The Game. Appreciate Buckethead for stopping by.
Yeah,
he
what's
came
up,
by
man?
to introduce himself. That was really cool. Okay, so here's the thing. Good on Rand Carthon that he got a TV job. Rand Carthon, the person, is fine. I didn't think he was a very good general manager. I don't need to hear him, and I know it's his job, and so he doesn't really pick the topics and all that stuff, but
Right.
like for him to say, the two voices that I heard were Arden Key and Jeffrey Simmons, and they didn't really have one on offense. Well, whose fault was that you didn't have one on offense? Weren't you the guy picking the players?
Right.
Wasn't that your job to bring those kind of guys in there? Like, I don't need to hear Rand Carthon's opinion on the Tennessee Titans, because while he does not share all of the blame, he is a big part of why they're in the position that they're in and why they had the number 1 overall pick.
That is correct. All right, you said he heard two voices, right?
Yeah.
He heard a third, Chad Brinker. Get out.
Yeah. He heard a fourth.
Beat it.
He heard a fourth that was saying, Chad, Rand, why does my team suck?
Yeah, hit the road there. I agree with you. Now he's all,
Rand, remember that party we had for you when we first hired? We're going to do it again when we fire you.
what a joke. Somebody else, another team had a party like that too for a coach.
It was the Bears for Ben Johnson.
Yes. And the same
It was the same thing.
people like, why are we here? Like, hey, get Mary up from accounting to come up here. Here, Mary, wave this pom-pom. Okay. Can we do this by teams meeting?
Could you imagine if they did that for Vrabel?
Oh, he'd start fighting people. Get out of here.
He'd look at Bob from ticket sales and ask him what he's doing with his hands.
I'll tell you a quick funny.
I'm trying to get a question. Well, then ask the question. No, I'm just saying, like, you look ridiculous.
So one time I was at a Mexican restaurant with our friend, the coach, and I played a trick on him. And I told him it was his birthday, right? So they brought over like 12 people that had a mariachi band, start doing his birthday. Walt gets up in the middle of all them, actually shoves him out of the way and leaves the restaurant because it was not his birthday. I played a joke on him. Everybody came like singing happy birthday to him. That's my idea of Vrabel walking into these press conferences or the big celebration.
8492 is mad at me for saying that I don't want Rand Carthon to talk about the Titans.
Why?
Why would you want the guy that failed at his job, and call it what you want? He failed at his job. He did not put a good and did he look? Was he given kind of a little bit of a bad deal? Was he given enough time? Okay, I'll give you that. But he didn't put a competitive team together. The owner and the guy that he hired that backstabbed him decided that he wasn't good enough, and so he's not here anymore.
Yep.
I get that he's doing TV now and Cam Ward's the number 1 overall pick, but like I don't care what he has to say about this team.
Exactly.
If John Robinson was doing it, I would listen. You want to know why? John Robinson drafted a Hall of Fame player in Derrick Henry, and he put a team together that went to the AFC Championship game.
Yeah.
He's got a little more skins on the wall.
Yeah, he's got a little cachet.
Did he mess up and make some bad choices too? Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a part of the reason they're in the position they're in too. But
I heard two voices. Arden Key sucks, so I don't want to hear his voice. Yeah, he's not
Rand
good.
Carthon goofy now. Like that's what
Yeah.
it sounded like.
He's like, man, I got two boys on here from Archie and Eli and Cooper. I don't want to hear from Arden Key. Arden Key's a loudmouth who I don't think he's very good. Simmons can talk all day long. By the way, Jeff Simmons, good question yesterday that was asked. He's lost a bunch of weight.
Yeah.
dude looks like a brick, you know what?
Uh-huh.
I mean, he looks good. And the Callahan thing was like, we're trying to get bigger and faster, but what happens when your best player is shredding weight?
Yeah, but
he
I
looks
think
good.
that look,
I mean, that
I'm gonna say this.
dude-
I have been hard on Jeffrey Simmons, and I know that he doesn't like when people talk about him like that, and all that stuff. Whatever you got to do, my man, be pissed off, whatever. Like
he
they
looks
need a
good.
big season out of him.
Yes, they do.
And guess what? I kind of think they're going to get it.
Yep.
I have a feeling, and it doesn't have to be sacking the quarterback. That's not necessarily an interior. That's not an interior D lineman's job. Like you want to hit from the outside, but he's going to create an opportunity for the guys from the outside.
Yeah, you're right.
That's what I think is going to happen. Joe, who we got coming up next?
Next, very funny. Now, a friend of the show, comedian Brian Banks. You see him on the Nate Land podcast with Nate Bargatze and the guys. He's got a big show at Zany's next week. Brian Bates is going to join us next on the show.
We will look forward to that. Coming up next, Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game. This September, Tim McGraw will be performing at Trinetics Rock the Cradle in Nashville, a meaningful event supporting newborns and moms at Ascension St. Thomas Midtown. Get your tickets now at rockthecradle.org. Chasing Big Joe live at the Omni Nashville Hotel. Time now to talk to a friend of the show. He's going to be at the Grand Ole Opry tomorrow night, and then the Lab at Zany's coming up on Tuesday. Brian Bates joins us now on the program. Brian, how you doing?
I'm great. How you guys doing?
We're doing fantastic. Always enjoy the conversations with you. So you're down in Hattiesburg, Mississippi right now. Is Brett Favre hanging around? Have you seen him anywhere?
Well, I'm not in Hattiesburg yet. I'm driving there, so I'm
Okay.
still in Tennessee. I'm almost to Alabama. It's amazing I can still hear you. Like, I'm listening to you guys on the radio. I'm in Pulaski. I can still hear you.
Oh, that's awesome. That's that's just the power of radio.
That's right.
Yeah, so I'm headed that way, and I'm almost to Alabama. So I got a few more hours to drive.
All right, so you're in Hattiesburg tonight, and you got to come back to the Grand Ole Opry tomorrow night here in Nashville. Yep. You've done the Grand Ole Opry before, Brian. What was it like the first time you did the Grand Ole Opry? Because, the music's great, the history is great, and all of a sudden, here comes this comedian.
Yeah, they really set you up great. They gave you a great spot. You don't go first. You wait till the crowd's warmed up, and then they give you a great spot. They really build you up your first time, and hey, this guy's making his debut, and it's just so amazing to be out there in that circle in front of all those people, that historic venue. It's not like I ever dreamed of doing the Grand Ole Opry as a stand-up comedian, but they've really tried to get a lot more comedians on the last few years.
Oh, and I think you do. I mean, absolutely hilarious when you go over there and do that. Now, Brian, I think people need – what makes you funny and unique is your story. You worked at news at Channel 5 for many years, and one day do I get this accurate? You're like, I'm going to be a stand-up comedian. You left the news business, which makes you a very smart man, and now you're a very successful comedian. I love the history. I got to ask, why did you I'm going to be a comedian? What made that change for you?
Well, I was really just ready to get away from Nick Barris. But it wasn't an overnight thing. It was I took a stand-up comedy class at age 35, which is ancient for guys who get into stand-up comedy. But I just did it for fun. It was a 4-week class. I didn't really expect to do anything from it, but I really enjoyed it. I took the next class and the next class, and then I'm like, oh, okay. And I started going to open mics, and it was a slow build. So I worked for 8 years at my job at News Channel 5, and then would go do stand-up comedy at night. And then finally I got to the point where I'm like, I think I can do this full time. And I did.
I love it. Brian Bates is with us here. He's at Zany's next Tuesday, the Grand Ole Opry on Saturday. You've hit gold with the Nate Land podcast with you and Nate Bargatze, Aaron Weber, who we love, Dusty Slay, who we love. How much fun is that? And is it like do you feel bad, Brian, getting paid for that podcast? Because, my God, man, what a great show that is.
Oh, I don't get paid for it, but no, I'm joking. Yeah, it's incredible. It's so much fun, and it's such great exposure. Nate and I have been friends for a long time. We didn't grow up together, but we feel like we're kindred spirits because I grew up in Lebanon. He grew up, in Old Hickory. We have a lot in common with each other. By the way, Colton Dow, I heard you guys break the news about Colton Dow. I grew up with his dad and went to school with his dad. So I'm a big Colton Dow fan. I hope he gets on somewhere else. But the podcast, yes, it's been such a blessing to me. And, that all started out of COVID. When everything shut down, Nate said, I want to do a podcast. And he thankfully asked me to come be part of it. That was 5 years ago.
We're talking to Brian Bates, comedian, who will be at the Grand Ole Opry tomorrow, and then Tuesday at the Lab at Zany's. I found it fascinating you talking about your journey and what got you into stand-up comedy. Everybody's journey is going to be different, but if someone, and I'm sure they do, comes to you and says, hey, I'm kind of thinking about it, like what are some pieces of advice you would give to someone that, whether it's just writing the material or how to deliver it, of what they should do to get things started?
Yeah, I mean, the best thing you can do is get on stage as much as possible and write as much as possible. And it's going to be bad at first. You're going to be at bad open mics. You're going to be bad. Very often, the first time you do it, it'll go well because all your friends will come and you'll think you're great. And then once they stop coming, you'll realize they're not. And it's really, really hard. So you just got to really, really put in the work. And it takes a long time. So I always tell people it depends on your family situation. I was single when I started. And when I quit my job, I'm like, well, if I starve, I'm only hurting myself. But if you're married with kids, you better think long and hard before you quit that day job. You can pursue it, but it's going to take a while to get good enough to live off of it.
Like anything else, don't quit. Brian Bates is with us today. Brian's at the Lab at Zany's next Tuesday, which is a great intimate facility, a little studio, arena, whatever, room. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. Brian, what's it like playing that small, fun, intimate room to go in the opening for Nate in front of 18,000 people? What is that like?
It's a big difference, but I love it. I love it. I mean, Nate is so crazy performing in arenas with, like you said, 18,000 people because, you know, in a comedy club like the Lab, which is 100 people, you might come off stage and tell the other comedians, hey, there's this one table that's a little rowdy. But in an arena, you're like, hey, section 314 is a little rowdy. It's so different. It's night and day different. The laughs come later in an arena. You have to be a little bit, pause a little bit longer because it's like they roll out. It's kind of weird. But I love the Lab because I'm not selling out arenas, but sometimes I can sell out the Lab.
Well, that's good. I saw you when you came out for Greg Warren 2 weeks ago, and you had 5 minutes on there. And I love what you talked about getting your picture taken at the DMV because your comedy, Brian, is so funny and so relatable because we've all had that awful license picture taken, and you only get one chance, man. And you had your one chance, and you blew it.
I blew it. Well, the lady didn't help me, but I blew it. It's hard to explain that on the air, but yeah, I looked up when I shouldn't have, and she would not give me another chance.
Just the way you described it, it's kind of like you almost look like some kind of ghost, like you floated down and had your picture taken, and you only get one chance, right? I mean, they tell you not to smile, look straight ahead, and it looks awful. Those pictures are awful.
Yeah, now what I did was they sent me to a kiosk, so you have to do it by yourself. And then there was no warning when that oval pops up on the screen and it's time for your photo. And then the woman comes behind me and goes, look up. And I'm like, what? And I think she just meant like raise your chin so you're more eye level. I thought she meant like at the eye doctor. So I just looked straight up with my eyes. I don't leave my head. And then it snaps. And then she would not let me do it again.
That's
awful. Just awful.
When I got mine at a kiosk, like the backdrop either was too low or I was too tall for it. So like the background is behind me and I get questioned at like bars or anything all the time. They're like, I haven't seen an ID like this. I'm like, it's too tall for the background.
Yeah, I can't do anything at a kiosk. I'm old. Every time at Kroger with the self-checkout, I'm going to have to call that person over because I'm going to do something wrong.
Brad, let me ask you real quick. The clean comedy thing has just taken off. And it's funny. A lot of comedians like to play the coast, the left coast and the west coast and the east coast. But the heartland of America, I see the pictures of Nate and you and the sold-out arenas. I mean, the clean comedy thing is just taking off, and you guys at the forefront of that. And I think, Brian, what you do with clean comedy is harder than what other comedians who use kind of the blue comedy with the language and everything. You guys do a great job with that.
Well, I appreciate that. I love all comedy. There's comedians that are not clean that I think are super funny, but I try to be clean and always have been. And I'm very fortunate that the guys who are really successful in Nashville are clean comics. Like Nate, he's obviously in the forefront and he's leading the charge. But there's a lot of successful clean comics in Nashville, and Austin, Texas has kind of become this big comedy hub because of Joe Rogan and Tony Hinchcliffe and different people. But Nashville is kind of becoming the clean comedy mecca, and we've got a lot of successful comics in Nashville, and most of them are clean.
I think it's great. I love it. Brian Bates at the Opry tomorrow night, the Lab at Zanies. I'm telling you, folks, go see him at the Lab Tuesday night at Zanies. Brian, as always, man, we love you. Great luck. Good, safe travels to Hattiesburg. Get your butt back tomorrow for the Opry, and we'll see you Tuesday night at the Lab.
All right. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks, Brian.
All right. Have a good week. Bye.
You too. Brian Bates joining us here on the program.
I love his story. I mean,
yeah.
I tell
That's
all
really
the time,
cool.
It's never too late to change your life. And the fact he wanted to do that, and now he's doing, and he never quit. He never quit. I tell people all the time, never quit.
We will have to tell him that there's no Mick Barris slander on this show.
Zero.
Yeah. So
Right?
that's okay.
Zero. Brian knows.
Coming up next, we'll tell you what day it is and celebrity birthdays here on Chasing Big Joe 102.5 The Game. Chasing Big Joe 102.5 The Game here on this Friday. 102.5 The Game and Souls for Souls have teamed up for a back-to-school fundraiser, Souls for the 615, to provide new shoes for kids experiencing homelessness in Nashville. Help a child in Middle Tennessee step into the new school year with confidence by donating just $20 for a new pair of athletic shoes. For more information and to donate, visit thegamenashville.com/shoes. Souls for the 615 is presented by Massaro and 12 South. Go check them out for handcrafted cocktails, bold plates, great happy hour, and elevated hospitality. Really cool thing, and we're glad to be a part of that once again. Let's see. Let's squeeze in a phone call real quick. Kenny the mailman has been nice enough to call in. Hello, Kenny.
Fellas, how are y'all doing?
Oh, we're fantastic.
Y'all are talking about the great throws, out of the practice field and the different quarterbacks. You know, in Joe's books, twice he has stated that the best throw he's ever seen was from his friend at Municipal Auditorium. Right, Joe?
Yeah, he flipped the pizza box and hit the lead singer's autograph right in the face.
If I tell you about this throw, are you man enough to say that it's better than that throw?
Absolutely.
In the mid-'90s at Dudley Field, a local car distributor thought it would be smart to pull a car out on the field and open the moonroof. And if anyone threw a paper airplane into the window, they would win the car. It was judged impossible to do. They didn't even buy insurance for it. It was sort of a joke. Were you covering sports at that time, Joe?
I was not.
Okay. Dudley Field does not have an upper deck, so nobody was even getting close. The UT Vandy game at the end of the year was stormy and windy. There was a paper airplane that shot straight up, and it kept coming down slower and slower, and I said, Babette, that has a chance. That has a chance.
Oh, no.
It went, fell through the moonroof, and my friend from Cone High School, Gary Woodard, the loudest individual I've ever met in my life, he makes the Vandy Whistlers sound like nuns, started screaming from the stands. He won the luxury car throwing a paper airplane when people said it was impossible to do.
Holy cow. What kind of car was it?
It was a luxury car. I can't remember if it was a Cadillac or a Lincoln Continental. I'm going to call him tonight and get the year and the make. But the Vandy officials were dumbfounded. The car dealer was crying, and Gary Woodard was jumping to beat the band. Every person that was at that game still remembers that, and I'm surprised. That must have been right before you started covering sports. I'll get the 100% numbers for you and everything, but it's still the greatest throw ever at Dudley Field.
Love it.
Thanks for the call, Kenny. You too. Kenny the mailman. Oh,
the
good
best
stuff. Before we get to what day is it in celebrity birthdays, we've talked a lot about the Titans and training camp and all of our coverage presented by Macero and 12 South and Parman Energy Group. With that, let's get to what day is it and celebrity birthdays. Presented by Jarrett Companies, Inc. All of your commercial construction needs under one roof. JarrettCompaniesInc.com, above and beyond industry standards.
All right. First on the list, we have Culinarians Day. So those that like to make food, shout out to you guys.
Like you.
Yeah, like me. Indeed. Feast of St. James is today. It's patron saint.
Wait, what?
The
David James?
St. James. So a little bit close in spelling there, but not quite.
Okay.
Patron saint of hat makers and laborers. So St. James there. Health and happiness with Hypnosis Day. Well, that's a little odd. Okay. Health and happiness with hypnosis. International Red Shoe Day is today. Get your Converses. National Carousel Day. National Get Gnarly Day. Did you know the G is silent in gnarly? Didn't know that. National Hire a Veteran Day is today.
Silent Nash, too.
Yeah, it is. System.
Hey, real quick, can I just tell you that one of my pet peeves is when people call Nash, the Predators mascot that spells his name Gnash, call him G Nash. Like, no.
Somebody does that?
Yes.
I'd defriend him. Would have him in my life at all.
Start calling him
Get out of
Ganache.
here.
Ganache.
We also have here
all right, continue, Dr. Craig.
National Hire a Veteran Day. Shout out to our veterans. National Wine and Cheese Day, if you like to eat that and drink that on the weekends. National Talking in Elevator Day is today. I would not like to do that. Thread the Needle Day is today.
Don't talk to me in an elevator.
Yeah, I don't like being in elevators, period. I hate the people that jump in an elevator. That bothers me.
Yeah. Keep on. Amen. Preach on that, brother.
That is my biggest worry, is to be stuck in an elevator. I've done that once. Not going to do it again. Last but not least, National Hot Fudge Sundae Day. Joe loves hot fudge sundaes.
Joe also loves sitting at the Omni Aquarium and looking out.
Yeah. I mean, you had ice cream yesterday at the Titans practice. That's why I was saying loves hot fudge.
Our on-site engineer, Sean Mark, brought me ice cream. I'm not going to deny it and turn it down.
I wouldn't either.
Are they just walking down the street in a swimsuit?
Yeah, they are. Both of them are.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not complaining. They almost hit by 2 cars, but is that all we got?
That's all we got.
Okay. All right. Listen real quick. Do you make eye contact with people in elevators or you look at the floor?
Do a half and half, kind of like Brian Bates with his driver's thing. You know, I look half and half. Probably the knees and the shins is where you look.
All right, got it. All right, time for celebrity birthdays. You got to get these within 2. Our first birthday, the beautiful model Iman.
28.
31.
70.
Okay.
Good job, guys, on that
Nice.
one. She was with David Bowie for years.
I don't know.
Joey from Friends, Matt LeBlanc.
56.
52.
58. Chaser on a roll. He's up 1-0 again. Get it done. Who else is this one here? Actor D.B. Woodside. Good Lord.
Oh, yeah. 67.
58.
56. He's in that show Lucifer on Fox or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Go down here. Don't know who that is. We'll cruise on down here. Let's see. Guitar player Jim Finer of the Pogues. Jim Finer of the Pogues.
77.
63.
70. Lead guitar player Thurston Moore of Sonic Youth.
57.
60.
67. Celebrity chef Jeffrey Zakarian. Celebrity chef.
55.
62.
66. Actress Bobby Eakes was on All My Children for many years and The Bold and the Beautiful.
78.
77.
64. Country singer Marty Brown. Hey now.
63.
70.
60. Don't get that little high pitched voice here, Dr. Crane.
70.
Know what's going on.
Shaggy.
Question.
Classical singer Farrell Smith.
Dr. Crane loves Farrell Smith. 72.
Can't get enough. We're going to go 77.
How about 30? Former Pittsburgh Pirates pitcher Doug Drabeck. By the way, it scores 1-1.
I don't know any of these today. Doug Drabeck, I don't know, 62.
51.
63. Chase up 2-1. Former Houston Astros relief pitcher Billy Wagner.
48.
53.
54. Last birthday. We are tied at 2, and this will ring a bell from last year. How old today is Bryce Young? Former Alabama quarterback. Now he's with the Panthers. Remember last year with J.C. Latham on, and we said it was Bryce Young's birthday? He's like, I got to text him. Thanks for reminding me. So how old is Bryce Young? For the win, boys.
26.
27.
Oh, Dr. Crane, you had it and you lost it. Chase is 24 years old. Chase wins 3-2. Good battle though on a Friday, pal.
That was a good battle. That is going to do it for us today. But before we get out of here, because, we're in a giving mood going into the weekend, the Borchetta Bourbon Music City Grand Prix is coming up at the Nashville Super Speedway August 30th and August 31st. And callers number, I'll let Dr. Crane decide. Just call, and he will decide on what number he's going to win. And we'll get a couple of different winners. A 4-pack of tickets for the Borchetta Bourbon Music City Grand Prix at the Nashville Super Speedway. Again, that's August 30th and the 31st. Call in 615-737-1025, and you can be a winner.
Hey, great show. Great weekend ahead for everybody. To our guys out there, if you are struggling, listen on your cell phone. You can call or text 988. No matter what's happening in your life, if you're struggling, please talk to someone. You can reach out to us. We're always here to talk to you. For the men who've reached out over the last 2 years, we love you. We're grateful that you trusted us. Thank you for letting us come on this journey with you. Sometimes your journey can be a little bit bumpy, but know that bumpy road turns into a nice, smooth road, and we got you. We're together in all this. Just know that we love you. More importantly, more than anything else in this world, please know this. Please know that God loves you.
Amen to that. Peace, love, rock and roll. DVD is coming up next. We're so glad that Willie was